Yeah. We are in the house. This is the Brothers in Nashville podcast show, and I am your host with the most, Mr. Tennessee 101. So, happy New Year to everyone out there in podcast land, everyone out there in radio land, everyone out there in YouTube land. Happy New Year. And this is, I guess you can call it a belated Happy New Year. So, first off, I do want to give a mini little address. I'll address it more towards the end of our show. I'll definitely elaborate a little bit later. I know a lot of you all have been looking for me. A lot of you all have been keeping your ears to the ground listening for me. You guys have been hitting me up and asking, hey, what happened to the Brothers in Nashville podcast show? The Brothers in Nashville podcast show is back. We are back. We are in the house. We are live with yours truly. I will elaborate on that a little bit later towards the end of our show. I just kind of want to talk about the hiatus. I know some of y'all were like, well, hey, this brand new podcast show started off. A couple of episodes got launched and then you kind of pulled back and disappeared, but trust me, I will elaborate on that later. And I'm going to kind of speak on my hiatus. I'm going to speak on the direction of the show, how the show is going to unfold, what direction the show is going to go in. And I'll definitely talk about that and give you all some kind of updates and let you know what it's going to be looking like going forward. So today's show, we're not going to do any news. We're not going to do any updates and everything, although I know so much has been going on in the world and in the news today. You know, it's a whole lot to talk about, but I decided since this is my first show back after a couple of months of hiatus, this is the new year. We are in 2021, as you can see right here behind me. I know we're a couple weeks in, so this is going to be a bit of a belated Happy New Year's, I guess. But today's show is going to be totally different. I got something lined up for you all. I want to kind of share with you all some things for what I took to make this particular show, since we're not doing any type of news. So this show, we're going to talk about the 10 things that I, Mr. Tennessee 101, has actually learned from 2020. So stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. If you have to, grab that glass of wine, grab that shot of Henny, grab that nice warm milk, grab that bottle of water, whatever you got to grab. Don't move a muscle. Don't touch that dial. Don't move that channel. The Brothers in Nashville podcast show will be right back after this brief commercial break. We are here. We'll be right back. Welcome to my fellow podcasters and listeners out there in podcast land. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. For starters, it's free. Who doesn't like free? There's also awesome creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And check this out. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Once again, that's the Anchor app at anchor.fm to get started. We'll see you there. All right. And we are back. This is the Brothers in Nashville podcast show. And I am your host, Mr. Tennessee 101. And just going into today's show, since I mentioned, that this show is really, since it's my first show back after having a couple months hiatus, I decided to forego any type of news updates or any type of news happenings and everything today, just for the mere fact that I wanted to kind of talk to everyone personally and kind of share with everyone 10 things that I've learned from 2020. And this list is not inclusive. It's not in any particular order, although I do have it numbered. It's not in any particular order, but I just want to share some things that I learned that I'm pretty sure may be similar to things that some of you all, my listeners, have actually experienced, and some things that you all, my listeners, have actually went through. So let's go ahead and deep dive in my list, 10 things that I've learned from 2020. And we're going to kind of talk about this, kind of mash it up so you guys can kind of hear you guys and gals, so you can kind of hear my thoughts. And hey, we'll go from there. So starting from the top here, 10 things I've learned from 2020. And I'm just going to kind of run down my list. So here we go. So number 10. Take nothing for granted. Okay. Take nothing at all for granted. And when I say don't take anything for granted, I mean your individual health, the health of your family members and the loved ones. A lot of people have been stricken by the coronavirus. A lot of people have fell ill. A lot of people have lost their lives. I mean, don't even know what the count is now, but I know we have had hundreds of thousands of individuals to lose their lives. I think the last time that I even saw the count, it was over I want to say 400,000 people. And that's a lot of people. That's nothing to take lightly. That's nothing to, take as a grain of salt, because that's a really, really detriment. A lot of people have lost, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandmothers, grandfathers, the death and the toll that the virus and the pandemic has taken on people has really been something that bears a lot of weight. So I say that to not take anything for granted. Don't take your individual health for granted, the health of your family members and your loved ones. That job you have, don't take that job for granted. There's still a lot of people that's not at work right now. A lot of people are still laid off due to coronavirus. A lot of people still don't have any jobs. You have some retail places that will never be open again. You have some small businesses, family-owned restaurants, period. A lot of places that were open last year prior to the pandemic, and this is going into 2020, are just simply not open anymore because they just did not have the sustainability to weather the long haul. So that job you have, whether that job pays you a little or that job pays you a lot, you have a job or you have a career, you have something that you can go and clock in at. Don't take that job for granted. Okay. Take it as if, you have something to go to, because a lot of people are still on unemployment. A lot of people don't have anything to go to. A lot of people don't even have the means to even support the family that they have. They don't have the means to support and buy the things that they need to live their daily lives, let alone pay their bills and take care of their financial obligations. Don't take for granted your ability to take care of your home. Don't take for granted your family. Just don't take things for granted, because they can be taken away in an instant, whether it be due to loss of job and loss of finances. You lost family members to the virus. You lost friends to the virus. Just don't take anything for granted. They always say, hey, stop and take notice of the small things, because the small things are what we have and what we can hold dearly. And when you take these things for granted, they're here one day and they're gone the next. Simply just take that to heart and don't let these things pass by because you took them for granted before. Number 9. Okay, so this was something that kind of, kind of came up, and I want to say it was something that kind of helped kind of clear a sense of surroundings, something that you do that there was control over, because a lot of things during this virus, during this pandemic, we didn't really have a lot of control over. We still don't have a lot of control over what happens. So my number 9 is throw things away you don't need. Okay. Throw things away that you don't need. This is something that I do every so often, but clearly not enough. Throw away and get rid of things you do not need. Clear the clutter. Don't be a hoarder of unnecessary things. I learned that it gave me a real sense of accomplishment and helped me organize common things when I simply threw out things that I did not need. And this is stuff that had no monetary value. This is things that anyone would consider to be junk, stuff, clutter, whatever. Get rid of it. I got rid of old clothes, shoes that I no longer wore. I donated all this stuff, of course, because you donate to Goodwill. It definitely does go to a better cause. Things that you have that may be gently used, but someone can reuse it. Hey, and also, keep in mind that when you donate these types of things, you can get a tax write-off as well too. So that may help in some respects. But I got rid of clothes, shoes I no longer wore, donated them, for better off. I threw away clutter that was in my home, clutter that was in my home office, shredded a whole lot of paperwork and things that were way too old for me to be holding on to. So if you can, or if you have a need to, go through your home and rid yourself of clutter and things that you don't need. I would actually suggest taking this approach room by room. It's actually easier versus doing your whole house. Go do room by room. If you want to start off in your bedroom, then you want to move over to, another bedroom in the house. You want to move over to, your kitchen. I don't know, your bathroom might have clutter. You might have that basement or that spare room, attic, whatever. Just go through the room by room. Just pick, whatever. If you want to pick a week and do one room, or you want to pick a weekend and do one room, just go through that room and get rid of everything that you don't need. And get rid of things that you haven't touched in like the last 3 or 4 years. I had stuff that I hadn't looked at in like upwards of 6-7+ years. I'm like, why do I still have this shredded? Why do I still have a pair of shoes that I haven't worn in 5 years? Clearly, I'm not going to wear these shoes. Clearly, I'm not going to use this item again. So let me go ahead and don't get rid of it, donate it, do what I can to rid myself of it, because it's just taking up unnecessary space. Not saying that anybody has to definitely go to a minimalist approach, even though I do respect the minimalist approach, because these people can operate and live with having little to no personal items. I know I'm definitely not there yet, but at least get rid of the clutter so you can kind of declutter your life. And it actually works. That's something that you have control over in this whole chaotic world that we don't have control over things. One weekend or 1 month, take that one room approach, go through, like I mentioned before, the bedroom, home office, if you have one, kitchen, garage, that spare bedroom, that attic, whatever you have, that storage room, whatever you have. We all have that one place in our house that's a catch-all place that just seems to catch a whole bunch of stuff. That room that has all that junk that continues to increase in size over time. As many times that I've moved in my lifetime, it seems like every time I move, something from the prior move always follows me, and that stuff kind of gains size per se. Declutter and get rid of the things that you don't need. It will help you to clear, it will help to clear you of things that you should have actually gotten rid of months or even years ago. Trust me, it will help. It's a stress reliever. You get the control back. You get rid of these useless items, these items that you don't even probably even forgot that you even had. It definitely helps to rid yourself of the clutter. You don't necessarily have to get organized per se, but just get rid of those unwanted items. Number eight for me was take care of your physical fitness. Okay. So with the closure of all the gyms and fitness centers and everything, and I know some have came back open, with certain safety measures in place. But when the pandemic first started last year, pretty much all the physical fitness centers were like closed due to social distancing, due to determining how the virus is spread. Due to those closed areas that don't have the best air filtration, those closed areas where people have a lot of surface contact and everything. With the closure of the gyms and fitness centers, it had become a bit challenging to stay on top of your physical fitness, which for most of us guys and gals is extremely important. I live a very fit lifestyle. I kind of follow a very certain type of diet, and physical fitness is extremely important to me. Most of the underlying conditions that we're present with or that are present in people are there because of a lack of physical fitness. Okay. Or either no physical fitness or nothing at all. We're not doing anything. So a lot of underlying conditions can be positively reduced with good physical activity, right? Work out outside, walk outside, run outside, go to the park. You can exercise in your home, in the gym, if you can, and if it's safe, but just don't let your physical fitness slide. So many things that physical fitness helps outside of your body, not just, getting you in a state of feeling well and feeling lively and feeling more energetic. Physical fitness, exercise, and working out also helps your mind. It also helps increase your physical state. It also helps release certain endorphins to where you feel better about yourself. You feel more in tune with life. It's just, I don't know all the science behind it and everything, but we all know that working out and exercise does extremely well for us, more so than just tuning our muscles and getting in shape and everything, but it also helps our mental state as well too. And I think that's one thing that can actually help out a lot right now with the state of, being social distanced and being away from people and not having any human contact. We need anything we can to help or enhance our mental state, not only ours, but those of others as well too. If you have a family, if you have a significant other or friends or whatever, and you can social distance and you can go out and be safe appropriately, hey, go out to the park with each other, go walking, go on that trail, or, if you can't go to a park and play Frisbee football, or, go to a park and, hey, fly a kite. It's a lot of activities you can do, maybe do in a small group, maybe like a group of, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. If you could do it safely, of course. Sometimes it's better when you go walking or go running or go to the gym or either work out outside, what have you, when you're in company, because when you have another person, that person can push you and you can push that other person. And when in the end, it works out well because you have like pretty much like an accountability buddy that actually works a lot too. So take care of your physical fitness. We need to make sure that we don't forget that, because we're sitting around, we're eating a lot more. We're eating a lot of junk food more. We're eating a lot more snacks because we're not being mobile. A ton of us are working at home. A ton of us are just sitting behind our computers at home. And then after that, we don't do anything else. If you have kids, get your kids outside if you're not already doing this, or either, get out and run around in the backyard with your kids, or, hey, I know a lot of people are like, kind of like, outdoorsy. So, take somebody with you that hasn't been outside a while. If you need somebody to walk with you, go and find someone to walk with you. Someone that shares your same interests as far as outside or working out or like fitness. Do whatever you can. Any little bit helps. Something is better than nothing. Okay, so moving on here. My number 7 thing here is save money. And I want to say if you can, because I know what position a lot of us are in right now. And some of us are not able to save any money. Some of us are not able to put any money back, but save money if you can. Okay, so first off, hey, I'm all about saving things, okay? And one thing I've learned in 2020, and I began to save more money now in different ways than I ever have before. Fortunately, I do have a steady career, and I'm in a position to where I can save money because with everything going on since the pandemic, I have not been spending a lot of money. So saving out of money actually came a little bit easier, but I understand everyone's scenario is different. You can do the best you can do with what you have. Okay. Now I know that some of us may be living on limited funds, paycheck to paycheck, even unemployment insurance. For those of us that have been fortunate to be in a job or a career where we haven't had to see a loss in income, I've learned that saving money for an unforeseen circumstances, for a unforeseen circumstance or unforeseen circumstances is absolutely necessary. Because who would have thought that the pandemic would have lasted as long as it did, especially when it started way back early in 2020 and going pretty much all throughout the year. It's still ongoing right now, but who knew that those first couple months were going to be as rough as they actually were, even saving for other things, things that you want to allocate, extra expenses to, whether that be home expenses, car repairs, many financial emergencies, et cetera, et cetera. If you can, and if you are able to save money when you can, no matter even if it's a little or a lot. One thing that I started doing, I'm going to share this tip with people, and I've been doing this for probably about almost 3 years now, I think. Don't quote me, somewhere around the fact. I know I was doing this before the pandemic started, but one thing that I do, and this is just a little tip, and I forgot where I found this at or heard this at or read this at. So I didn't coin this, but what I do is on my checking account, right? Whatever the cents are, and a lot of people may already know this, you may already be doing this, you may have heard of it before. It's basically something similar to like rounding the cents up. So in my checking account, every morning or every day after the previous day, I check my checking account balance to see what it is. If there's any change in my checking account balance, I'll actually go ahead and roll that over to one of my savings accounts. So that way I'm always putting something in my savings, even if it's a couple of nickels. Okay. So let's say, for instance, I check my checking account and I see that the change in my balance is 82 cents. So what I'll do is I'll take the 82 cents and transfer it to one of my savings accounts. So that way I'll have something going over, and hey, it might be different every day. One day it might be 82 cents. Another day it might be 34 cents. One day it might be 77 cents, or it might be 95 cents. But every day when you see your cents like that, you're rolling over to a savings account. And here's another plus tip. This is a plus tip, a tip on top of a tip. So let's say you check your checking account balance and there's no cents. It's like an even balance. Go ahead and transfer over $1. Okay. Just $1, because that way, let's say, for instance, you kept an even checking account balance throughout the whole entire month. At the end of that month, you will at least have saved $30. Now, granted, being if you have the cents there, it's going to be a little bit less depending on what it is, but you at least have something saved. Something is better than nothing. Some of us may save more, but this is just kind of like a small little kind of tip, something that I've been doing for the past 2-3 years is just kind of rolling my cents over to one of my savings accounts. And if I don't have that, I just go ahead and roll over a whole dollar. I think it's a good tip. You can kind of count and see how much you have. Cause I know in most respects, sometimes it's hard for people to save money. Sometimes saving money is a bigger challenge than, and easier said than done. But hey, it will help you do something. And there's other tips out there and everything, but that's just one I thought that I would share with you all. So number six for me is increase communication. Okay. And when I say increase communication with loved ones, family members, friends, people who are important to you, people who you deem to be important to you, whomever you deem is necessary in your life. Increase communication, because even now, since of course the pandemic is still ongoing, and I know things have been relaxed and things have been kind of rolled back a bit, but what I learned when everything first started in early last year, increase your communication. I can honestly say that myself and, I increased the communication with my own mother, having that, whether we talk once a week or twice a week, it's actually, it's actually more heartwarming knowing that I could not physically see her, and my mother has lived out of state, we live in 2 different states. So, we have a pretty good distance between us and everything. Right. But, increasing communication, as far as that phone call, is actually great when you can hear somebody else's voice and that other person can also hear your voice as well too. Yes, texting is good. Yes, emailing is good, but it's nothing like picking up the phone call, and something else that I did too was, I have a couple family members where the first couple months I was just kind of rotating. Hey, I, call this family member on, this Saturday, and the next Saturday I call a different family member. And I know we all can do better with contacting our, immediate family and kind of extended family a little bit more. We all need to get better with this because we always think our family members are always going to be there, but we live in very trying times. We live in very, unpredictable times and unprecedented times to where life is so precious. And as I said earlier, you can't take anything for granted. We're here today and we could truly be gone tomorrow. So I just say increase your communication. Pick up the phone and call when in doubt. If you think you haven't talked to someone in a long time, it's probably time for you to talk to them or give them a call. And, hey, same thing with friends too. No matter who you are, hey, if you got a friend, somebody you hadn't seen in a couple years, hey, just call them and check on them. Even if you call them and they're not able to answer, leave them a voicemail. If they're able to answer, I'm pretty sure they'll call you back. But, sometimes, and I know I can personally say, Mr. Tennessee 101, I'm not real big with leaving voicemails. I just don't like leaving a verbal trail. But if it's a family member, I definitely leave a voicemail, something to let them know that I call. So when they play it back, it's something that kind of hits you a little bit differently when you play back a message and you hear a family member's voice on that voicemail. It kind of hits you a little bit differently. It's not like a bill collector or somebody calling you or something like that. So, I say, bump up and enhance your communication. Hey, keep in contact with those people who you deem necessary in your life. You probably can't or you couldn't visit them. You probably haven't seen them since the start of the bug, this pandemic and, the first lockdowns and all that, but keep in contact with them. Sometimes you may have to rotate calling different family members, as I just mentioned, and friends, but do so. You never know what another person is going through, and you may not know how to reach out or contact, and they may not know how to reach out and contact you first. But I'm sure when you do it and they hear from you unexpectedly and unscripted, they will appreciate that contact and value it more because it's coming across as genuine. It's nothing like genuine communication. It beats any type of text message. It beats any type of, reach out through any type of social media app or platform. Picking up the phone, dialing those numbers, having a conversation, whether that conversation is 5 minutes or 50 minutes, it definitely goes a long way. It comes across as more genuine. Even if it's a short, brief phone call, chat, video call, FaceTime, it can go a long, long way. Okay. All right. So before we move into number 5, we're going to take a quick little break. And we'll be right back. Once again, my name is Mr. Tennessee 101, and this is my list of top 10 things I've learned in 2020. We'll be right back after this commercial break, and we'll get on down this list. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. All right. Okay, we are back in the house right here. We are back in the house. And once again, this is yours truly. My name is Mr. Tennessee 101, and this is the Brothers in Nashville podcast show. So, moving on down this list right here. So, my number 5 thing that I've learned in 2020 is to, take up a hobby. Okay. And I say take up a hobby because, sometimes you need something to kind of motivate you. You need a little outlet. You need something that you can, release on. You need something that you can do as have an avenue of escape. And a lot of times that can consist of some type of hobby, okay? Hobbies are unique. Hobbies are fulfilling. Hobbies are sometimes time consuming, but in a good way. The reason I say take up a hobby is because if there is something that you enjoy doing, it can take your mind off of other things in your life that are not going so well. Basically, your hobby can become your focus and your outlet. Hobbies are a bit of a stress reliever. They can be rewarded and be an outlet for relaxation and even an avenue of expression of your own personality. All hobbies are different, and they are an extension of something that you value and can certainly be unique to your own interests. With everything that went on in 2020 and going into 2021, having a hobby or hobbies can be something that you can retreat to and enjoy. These things can get your mind off of other pressing and stress-related things in your life, in our life, even if only for a short period of time. Take up and find a hobby that you will enjoy. It's so many things out there that you can kind of, put your finger on and put your hands on. If you got one of those old hobbies that you haven't done in a while, or you got something that you've been thinking about doing, or you got something that interests you or something that you kind of want to take up. Hey, look, I'm a firm believer, and I got more than a handful of hobbies. I got so many hobbies that I really can't keep up with all of them at any one given time. So I have to divvy the time out. But those hobbies are stress relievers. They can kind of take your mind away from work. They can take your mind away from all this hoopla that's going on with the government. They can take your mind away from all these other pressing matters with the pandemic. It can definitely be an outlet of a release. Let's kind of get away from the binge watching of the TV shows and, kind of sitting on the couch, turn into a couch potato. Let's, do a hobby. If that hobby is outside, I know a lot of places it's, wintertime and cold outside, and we can't really get outside like we used to, versus, when we had better weather, depending on what part of the country you live in. But, if your hobby allows you to go outside, or you could do it inside, or you can go somewhere and do it, hey, take up your hobby, exercise your hobby, and enjoy your hobby. Okay. Number four for me, as far as things I've learned in 2020 is, my number 4 is your home is your sanctuary. Okay. Your home is your sanctuary. And I say that because, yes, your home is indeed your sanctuary. Your sanctuary. During the first few months of lockdowns and not being able to frequent all the social places that people would normally like restaurants, bars, lounges, etc., all these kind of, public places that people would go to and hang out with and have a good time at. I learned to make my home more comfortable than what it already was. Now, for the stores that were still open, the household stores, like, you got your Home Depots, your Lowe's, your TJ Maxx Home Goods, a lot of stores that sell and sold decor type items. I bought small things to kind of make my surroundings more pleasant, made little, home improvements and things that I could do like here and there, kind of little things that were kind of like, hey, well, this is a little something I can change, or this is something I can kind of, repurpose, or I want to change what this looks like, and I want it to look like this, just to make it more inviting, to make it more personable, to make it more like relaxing. Because hey, those first couple months, those first like 4 or 5 months, going into 6 months, I know a lot of us spent a lot of time at home. A lot of us had, me, I don't have, kids running around and pets running around and stuff like that, so I had to get something in my house that was, I had to get something else that was alive in my house other than myself. So, so I bought plants and fish, basically, I bought small things to make my surroundings more pleasant, like a picture or frame art here and there, small decor items that complemented an unused space. I went out and I bought plants, mainly because, like I said, I wanted something else alive in my house other than myself. I also went back and bought fish too, because, I was a real big type of fish person. I like fish. Fish are the perfect pets. Trust me, they don't bark. So doing so, it kind of helped make my spaces a little bit more inviting and everything. I wanted to, kind of redo and repurpose different spots in my home and everything. You would be amazed by the therapeutic things that plants can actually help with as well too, and when they are placed in your home, not only do they help to increase the oxygen levels in your home or in small spaces, but plants kind of give off a vibe that you can bring a bit of nature indoors when you can't quite get to nature. Okay. Personally, I've never been the type of person to have a green thumb per se, but having plants was definitely a thing that was inexpensive, that I thought helped to make my place a bit more of a sanctuary. Another thing I did was, of course, like I mentioned earlier, was I bought the fish. Just a brief little backstory. I've actually had fish before, but I've had a much, much larger tank. I actually had a 56-gallon tank at one point, but decided to go like small scale, from having that big, large 56-gallon down to like a 5-gallon with like a couple of fish. I actually bought two, set up one to 5-gallon. I got another 6-gallon tank. No, excuse me. It was a 4-gallon tank. I think it was somewhere around there. Excuse me. And then I bought another 6-gallon tank that I haven't set up yet, but it's going to be set up. Just kind of watching the fish swim around in a nicely decorated tank also creates a nice therapeutic result as well too. It's very calming. It's very, kind of flowy. It's kind of like, hey, I just want to look at these fish kind of swim around and do their thing in their own little world. Something about water and seeing tropical fish swim around is very, very soothing and calming for those that have fish tanks, and those that enjoy fish know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So no matter how you decide to go about it or what pieces you decide to add or move around, make the place you live, which is your home, your own sanctuary. Okay. Number three for me. Okay. And this is something that really helped to pass the time too. And it really helped to kind of have a bit of, extracurricular activity. So my number 3 was learn a skill or brush up on one that you already have. Having a skill, any skill is great. It can be something that you want to learn how to do, or it could be something that you want to get better at. The skill could be manual or hands-on, or it could be something that is not tangible, something that you can still use to be productive or enhance your livelihood. For me, during the first 3 to 6 months of the pandemic, I had a lot of extra time on my hands, and this was outside of work. Okay. Because I wasn't going anywhere. I was staying at home, going to work, staying at home, going to work, rinse and repeat over and over and over again. So it gave me time in the evenings to brush up on a skill. For me, it was revisiting learning Spanish. Okay. I've actually been studying Spanish on and off for probably a little over 6 years now. And that's long enough to achieve fluency, but I've been on and off it. It's like I get on it for maybe 3 months, and then I'm off for 2 months, or I get on it for a month, then I'm off for 3 months. I get on it for 4 months and I'm off for 2 months. So I'm, on and off learning Spanish for about the past 6 years, Truth be told, I should actually be fluent right now. And I know enough Spanish to insert myself in conversations, to answer back, in some respects, to engage individuals in Spanish. I even know how to read Spanish in some respects. I don't know how to write it, but I can speak and read. I just got to get better with hearing and being able to recognize, certain accents and dialects and things like that. speaking of actually being should be fluent right now, but although I know that I don't know enough to where I am fluent, I do know enough to where I can navigate and speak well in basic conversations and open conversations with even strangers as well too. You know, hey, I even often get compliments on how well I can pronounce Spanish words. This is a skill that I brushed up on. It is a skill that not only benefits me with being able to communicate in a different language, it also greatly helps when I travel to Spanish speaking countries and communicating, if at least on a basic introductory level to those that live there. You know, I've been to, some Spanish speaking places, that I enjoy. I've been to Puerto Rico, I'm getting tongue tied. Sorry, guys. I just ran out of water and my mouth is kind of dry and everything right now. So excuse me. I've been to Puerto Rico twice. I've been to La República Dominicana twice. And I enjoy going to these different places because I enjoy using with Spanish. I know I enjoy connecting with the people. I enjoy, the landscapes. I enjoy the environment. It's just being somewhere different. So, I found learning Spanish to be a tool that could, better me and better my communication in that respect. So I actually, feel good when I get compliments when people tell me that I can speak certain words well and that I know what I'm saying past a basic level. Yeah. I actually think I'm at somewhat like a pre-intermediate level, but that's yet to be determined. Okay. But anyway, that was a skill that I chose to brush up on, and it is, if at least on a basic introductory level to those that can hear me. But speaking another country's native language opens doors to introductions that normally would not be open if you did not. Brushing up and practicing on my Spanish, learning new words and phrases will always be a skill that for me is needed. Okay. If you have a skill, no matter what it is, take time to fine tune it or to brush the dust off and make it better. Okay. Number two for me, and I'm going to kind of go in on this one right here because my number two thing is really, really weighty. I think it carries a lot of weight. So for me, my number two is value the people that make you a priority. Okay. I'm going to say that again. Value the people that make you a priority. Okay. So here's the thing, right? If not anything else, I found out in 2020 and during the pandemic, I've learned that people prioritize things differently. Of course, depending on their own individual situation, their own individual scenario, whatever they have going on. But I say this, only deal with those people, individuals that prioritize how they deal with you in return. Okay. Don't deal with people who can't keep commitments. Don't deal with people who say they will do things and then they renege on what they say they will do. Don't deal with people that put you on the back burner. Okay. It doesn't matter who they are, right? It doesn't matter. Hey, if they're friends, acquaintances, hey, I know sometimes you might have to, be kind of dicey with deciding on even if it boils down to family members, it doesn't matter who that other person or persons are, even if they're friends, and I say this, true friends, honest friends would not put you on the back burner. Okay. Whether it be family, people who you are acquaintances to, if they're truly family, truly good people, they won't put you on the back burner. Okay. They will prioritize you just as you prioritize them. Okay. Now you can actually learn which friends, and I say that loosely in quotation marks, and other people, and what other people have your back when they make commitments with you. I, for one, don't do well with flaky. I don't do well with flaky people. I don't care if you're a man, woman, cat, dog, bird, squirrel, whatever. I don't deal well with flaky people. For me, it just burns a major nerve when someone does not honor their commitment or some type of engagement that they have given or gave their word that they would do. Overall, people prioritize what they want and what they deem important. Remember that. Overall, people prioritize what they deem and who they deem to be important. This can also go along in relationships, or when you get to know somebody new or get to know somebody for the first time, or it's a new kind of development, meeting someone. If commitments are not fully filled, individuals, well, let me gather these thoughts here. Okay, so if commitments are not fully filled, individuals show flaky tendencies or may show flaky tendencies when it's time to get together. Individuals make empty promises. Instances like these, you should tread carefully if you choose to give these people second chances with you or whatever you're doing. Because if a person doesn't fulfill their commitment or they flake out once, chances are they're going to do it again. Now, hey, we all know life happens, emergencies happens, things like that. But I say this, when you give non-committal or people who you have prioritized before and they don't share that same respect to you, I say tread lightly or tread carefully. Okay, if you choose to continue to deal with these individuals, right? Okay, so excuse me, you. I'm just looking at my timer right here to make sure I don't go over my time and everything. But so let me get back to this right here. Okay, so when this thing's right here, just I say just value the people who make you a priority. I for one have learned to only deal with people and individuals that prioritize me and my time, because my time is valuable. And if I say I'm going to have an engagement with you or do a project with you or go somewhere with you or help you do something, or I say, hey, I can get you squared away with this, or I can help you do ABC, then hey, that thing should kind of, come back full circle. Because if you giving your time to someone, it's only in the back of your mind that you would think that person would do the same. But we got to remember, there are some people out here that I like to call time vultures. Okay. And that may be like a new term. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and coin it, because I've been keeping this, to myself for quite some time. And I don't know, hey, people may have used this term before or whatever. I say a time vulture is someone who takes your time and they'll never repay it back. You may do a favor for them. You may go somewhere and help them out with something. You may, talk to them because you think you're going to form a relationship with them, or you may, see them to spend some time with them, quality time, whatever it is. But on the back end, they will never repay you your time. They will never give you your time back, because what a vulture does, a vulture is a preying type bird, right? A vulture is a bird that comes by and it gets the remnants of whatever is left over. But the thing is, when that vulture takes, it never brings back. Hence, time vulture. Taking your time, I'm never going to bring that time back. Okay. So, if you see that they do not or won't leave, if you see that they won't give you or they don't share the same prioritization over your time, you may just have to push them to the side. Sometimes, hey, we're moving into a new year. You may have to leave some of these 2020 people behind in 2021. Everybody's not meant to go on your journey and your destination with you. Some people you have to leave behind. Friends, acquaintances, people who you were in prior relationships with, people who you think you were going to get in relationships with, some rogue family member, whomever, somebody you work with, whatever. You just have to just learn when you have to kind of cut your losses, okay? Sometimes you have to do that. You may even have to cut them off permanently, or in some instances, just not deal with them with that certain thing you're doing, you know? The project, you may have to deal with them based on the project you're working on. That one person that you're in a relationship with that you can never get the time with, that friend who says that they're your friend, but when they need you, you're always there, but they are nowhere to be found when you need them. Come on now. We've all known a person or a person or two like that. Only deal with those people that can prioritize you just as you have prioritized them. Sometimes it's just best to cut bait with people. All right, we're going to take another quick little break, and I'm going to be back with the number one thing that I have learned in 2020. The number one thing. Let's take this quick little break, and we'll be right back. I am Mr. Tennessee 101, and this is the Brothers in Nashville podcast show. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back. All right. And we are back. We are back in the house once again. So let's go ahead and cap this list off. We're coming back with the top 10 things that I've learned in 2020 that I want to share with you all, my listeners and everything. So here we are. My top thing, my top item that I have learned in 2020 is to simply be thankful. Be thankful if you had a job or a career that was not affected directly or indirectly affected by the pandemic. A lot of jobs and people's livelihoods were lost, some of which for now, months past or months later won't be returning. Be thankful if you have a roof over your head. Be thankful if you have groceries in your refrigerator. Be thankful if you have a car to drive. Be thankful that you have that job to go to. Be thankful that you have money in your pocket to pay your bills. Be thankful that you have a means to take care of your financial obligations. Be thankful for the family you have. Be thankful for the kids you have. Be thankful for close friends. Be thankful for the neighbors you have. Overall, just be thankful. Whatever it is that you have, we have to, I know this might sound kind of cliche, but we have to look at the glass half full, and we have to be thankful for things that we have with us now, because there's been a whole lot of loss in 2020, and we want to recognize things that we still have and some things that we still have a hold dear to us. So let's be thankful. Be thankful if you did not lose anyone, okay, close to you during these bad times during the pandemic. Hey, just recently, and not to get too far off, but just recently we lost some icons. We lost Hank Aaron. Just a matter of maybe I don't know, a week or so ago, we lost Hank Aaron. And a couple of days ago, we lost Cicely Tyson. And I was gonna, maybe speak on those two maybe a little bit later. But we lost some icons, and I know some of us have lost close family members, close friends, close co-workers. Just be thankful, for everything and above. Just overall be humble and be thankful for what you have or what you have been able to maintain. Going into 2021, we're going to try to take everything back. We got to be strong. We got to maintain. We got to keep our heads up, because we're not out of the dark yet. It's so much stuff going on in the news right now. It's so much stuff going on in the world. It's almost like on a constant hamster wheel. We're just turning and turning and turning, and we're not there yet. But hopefully soon we can be back to where we were pre-2020. Okay. I just want to tell everyone to just hold on. If, just maintain what you can maintain, take time, be thankful, be humble. Just take a moment's notice to understand that we're in a position to try to reclaim what we lost in 2020 and to kind of get back to some type of normalcy. So that's going to end my message right here. So let me just go ahead and round this thing out and go back over my top 10 things that I've learned in 2020. So here's the rundown once again, just to cap everything off. Number 10, take nothing for granted. Number 9, throw things away you don't need. Number 8, take care of your physical fitness. Number 7, save money if you can. Number 6, increase your communication. Number 5, take up a hobby. Number 4, your home is your sanctuary. Number 3, learn a skill or brush up on one that you already have. Number 2, and I swear number 2 is so important, value the people that make you a priority. And once again, number 1, be thankful. Be thankful, be thankful. Okay, so that's going to wrap up the show right there. That's going to be the meat and potatoes of the show. So I kind of want to move over into talking about, and this is just going to be real quick before I close the show, because I'm about to wrap the show up here, right? So for the most part, the Brothers in Nashville podcast show, I had big ideas for the Brothers in Nashville podcast show. I still have huge ideas for the show, and the direction of the show, the way the show is going to go now is your host, yours truly, I'm going to be piloting the ship for the Brothers in Nashville podcast show. I'm not going to have any co-host as of yet. Okay. So from here on out, when you hear the show, you're going to hear me, Mr. Tennessee 101. I'm going to be coming at you with the show until I get some consistent co-host. Okay. I'm actually going through the process right now of vetting some new co-hosts, some co-hosts that actually share my same interests as far as, kind of, hey, being on radio, having a collaborative effort and putting the show together. Because I tell you what, when I first launched this show, I put a lot of things in place behind the scene to kind of establish the grassroots, and I don't want all that to go away. That's why I'm back on the mic here tonight after several months of a hiatus, because I just felt this fire in my belly that I had to, get the show back on and get the show back on the airwaves. So going forward, until I, have some new co-hosts come on, I'm also going to have some guest co-hosts too. So it may be some individuals I may have sit on to be like guest co-hosts, or I may just totally just roll with guest co-hosts from here on out until I have some bit of permanency come along. But for right now, hey, I had to make a change with, the original cast that I thought I was going to have, because this is something that I'm passionate about. I think that in this part of the country, which is Nashville, which is Middle Tennessee, I think, there is a voice to be heard, whether it's, this platform talking about news events. We definitely are going to talk about what's going on here in Middle Tennessee, what's going on here in Nashville. We're definitely going to talk about what's going on with African-American men. We're definitely going to talk about some black issues. We're definitely going to talk about some world issues. We're definitely going to talk about, comedy. We're definitely going to talk about, things that kind of enlighten our mind, take us into some deeper thought. We're definitely going to have, some talk about, hey, relationships. We're definitely going to have some talk about, a whole gamut of things, a lot of things that I've had ideas about that I have not put pen to paper yet, but it's just so much stuff running around when you have a consistent platform. So my commitment is, I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to have some type of show, at least for right now. My schedule, or the schedule for the Brothers of Nashville podcast show, is at least going to be one show every 2 weeks. Okay. I know that may sound, hey, one show every 2 weeks. Mr. Tennessee, that's only like 2 shows a month. But here's the thing. This is something that's still in its infancy stages, and it's almost like, and this may sound kind of cliche, it's almost like, I'm kind of having to build the airplane as I'm flying it, because without any permanent co-hosts, without, any, I guess I don't want to say help, but I say without any other collaborative effort, hey, I'm the writer, I'm the cameraman, I'm the audio video visual guy, I'm the sound guy, I'm the script guy, I'm your host. So basically I'm wearing multiple, if not 9 or 10 different hats. So I know all that'll change in the future, but as this show grows steam, as there's some weight and some wind gets behind our wings, this plane will get built and it will be more efficient. So, hey, look, we got to build this plane as we fly it. We got to work with what we got. I got a lot of cool equipment in. I finally got, some, the way I got this the way I have this studio set up and everything right here, because I, shoot these episodes my own, put everything together. But I want to have a collaborative effort with brothers, because I think us brothers, us black men, we don't have a large enough platform. So, hey, look, if I can do something on my small piece of the pie here on Anchor, my small piece of the pie here on YouTube, if I can collaborate with some other like-minded brothers, whether they be, here locally in Nashville or maybe a state over, above or below, then hey, I'm definitely open to do that. So if you're within the sound of my voice and you want to contact me at the show, definitely I want to say that you reach out and you contact me at tbin.podcast.show@gmail.com. Once again, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to have this in the closeout of the show, because I always do. The contact for the show email wise is tbin.podcast.show@gmail.com. And I can, take whatever, whether it be feedback for the show or whether you're interested in being like a guest co-host or whether you want to come on and work with me, especially if you're a brother and you live in the middle Tennessee area, Nashville, Smyrna, Laverne, Murfreesboro, Madison, you live out to, the west, west of Nashville, Franklin even, hey, reach out to me and we can collab and we can make it, hey, do what it do. I plan on having guest co-hosts. Even though the show is The Brothers in Nashville, I'm also going to have some ladies on the show. I know if I have ladies on the show, I know the brothers will come. You bring ladies and men will come. Why is that? I don't know, but that's just a dynamic, because of course, when we have these other free flowing topics, especially topics like, relationships and topics about dating and topics about, the uniqueness between the two, we definitely got to have a dual perspective from, hey, men and women. So I'm not going to limit the show to only just having, guys. There's going to be some gals on here too, but it's primarily going to be, hence the name, the Brothers in the Nashville podcast show. So I'm going to commit to having some type of show at least once every other week. That's twice a month. For right now, and it may be more, okay? But that's what it's going to be for the most part so far. Of course, Anchor is still the host of the show, so you can go to Anchor and you can watch episodes. If I have video playback, and I will have video excerpts of some shows, those will, of course, go over to YouTube, and you can, hey, feel free to see me there. If you want to see my mug on YouTube, hey, then go right ahead. I'm going to have some content there as well, too. What else? Oh, yes. We're going to have a call-in number. I plan on having a call-in number for the show. So, hey, if, for those that want to call in, if we want to have, a kind of Q&A, or like we have a topic that's, any good topic, I want to have some call-in people to call in to the show as well, too. So the call-in number is coming. I already have the capabilities set. I just got to do some things with like making sure of, the number that I'm going to be using, because this number is going to only be allocated to, the Brothers in Nashville podcast show. It's going to be there for call in. It's going to be there for, you, the guests, my listeners, because, hey, that's just what radio shows do. You got to have a call-in number for your people. Okay. What else? Topics are going to be varied. We're going to, I plan on doing more than just news, topics like what I mentioned just a few minutes ago. So, hey, we're going to make this thing pop off. The Brothers in Nashville podcast show, we have not went away. I am back. I am here. We're going to make this thing pop off, and we are going to make it do what it do. So, hey, let me go ahead and wrap this show on up. So let me go ahead and wrap everything up so we can get on out of here and close this thing up. So without further ado, and I do want to just say, hey, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for dialing in. Thank you for checking us out on Anchor. Thank you for watching the playback on YouTube, or if you caught it on your mobile phone, or you download the Anchor app on your mobile phone. Hey, thank you so much for dialing in. Thank you for the positive feedback. Thank you for reaching me personally and actually checking on me and asking about the show, because the show is here and the show is back. Okay. So thank you for the small thanks. Thank you for anything. I'm just so humbled that I even have one small piece of this pie and having some type of platform to be able to communicate to you all. Distribution. Currently, the podcast is being hosted by Anchor.fm. Find it by going to Anchor.fm/TBIN-podcast-show. The show is also available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and on the Radio Public app for Android, just to name a few. The show can also be found on multiple platforms or wherever you download your regular podcast. Just simply search for the Brothers in Nashville podcast show to download. Also, as I mentioned before, check us out on YouTube. Just search for the Brothers in Nashville podcast show. Subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment. And remember, people, likes are free. Okay? It doesn't cost anything to like a video. If you like my content, or if the content brings value to it, hey, give me a thumbs up. That's easy peasy. Connections. To connect, you can reach out to us with a quick message via the podcast page at anchor.fm/TBIN-podcast-show. Once again, that's anchor.fm/TBIN-podcast-show, and hit that message button. You can send us a live voice message, and your message might just be heard on a future show. By email, you can reach us at tbin.podcast.show@gmail.com. One more time, tbin.podcast.show@gmail.com. This is our official mailbag where you can contact us with feedback, fan mail, questions, or to simply send us stories you would like for us to comment on or discuss. We want to hear from you. Support for the show. To support the show, you can leave a small monetary donation via the podcast webpage. Once again, at anchor.fm/TBIN-podcast-show. Just hit that support button. Or hit us up on that Cash App at $ Mr. Tennessee 101, and that's the letter O. Access the Cash App via your mobile phone and search for $ Mr. Tennessee 1, the letter O1, or find our Cash App by our email address. And you know what that is, tbin.podcast.show@gmail.com. And to end it all, thank you for all the support. Once again, all the messages that we've received thus far. I really do appreciate it. Okay, I really do appreciate it. And that goes without being said. Until next time, everyone, I am your host, Mr. Tennessee 101, and this is the Brothers in Nashville podcast show. And to everyone out there in podcast land, we'll see you soon.